Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ron Wallace here with Balling Down South Sports Network, here with another episode of the interview. I can tell you my next guest is a native of Jackson, Mississippi, a graduate from Prairie View A&M, has his doctorate degree from Texas A&M, and he's a former member of the NCAA Leadership/Management Council, and he's the 6th SWAC commissioner. Let me go ahead and introduce you guys to none other than Dr. Charles McClelland. How you doing today, Doctor?
Hey, doing well. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yes, sir. You guys have been busy over there in the SWAC, sir. I can tell you this: you've got 2 schools joining the SWAC. How did you accomplish such a feat?
Well, Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M did a study. They tried to analyze where they thought they would best fit. Fortunately for us, the Southwestern Athletic Conference was that conference. 2 strong brands coming into a conference that has led football attendance 42 of the last 43 years, passionate fans, passionate fan base, bands, tailgating, whatever it is that you want in black college football, we have it. And now Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M will join us. So kind of makes us an extremely strong conference, and we're excited about it. But fortunately for us, they did a study. They took a look at what we had to offer, and they decided we would be a good fit for them.
Now, looking at your resume, you've been an athletic director. You've been around athletics for quite some time. So, speak a little bit about some of the places you've been before becoming commissioner of the SWAC.
Well, my journey started at Prairie View A&M University. I've been an athletics director 19 years, almost 20 years, and commissioner 2 years. So, kind of started at the ground level, had to learn. But I think one of the things that has assisted me in the transition coming from Prairie View to Texas Southern and then to the conference office was those experiences. So coming in, you kind of know what the athletic directors are looking for. And I was able to hit the ground running. And that's an important piece of being able to get all of this done, hitting the ground running and understand what the member institutions are looking for. So long journey, but I'm here and we're very excited.
Now, being an athletic director before, how has it, made your job as a commissioner?
Well, it's eased some of the burdens. A lot of the things that I complained about as an athletics director, I'm now responsible for as a commissioner. So the roadmap and the blueprint was there. And we've had a good amount of buy-in from our fans. Our presidents have been spot on, our athletic director, senior women's administrator, and our coaches. So fortunately for us, having those relationships prior to coming was significant in order for us to get that cohesive unit together to start to move this thing forward. And I can tell you, quite frankly, Ron, it's moving a lot faster than I ultimately thought that it would be.
Well, I know, looking at FAMU and Bethune-Cookman, FAMU definitely has an awesome sports and athletics programs there at that university and Bethune-Cookman. Now, you already got Grambling, banned already, in the SWAC. Now you got FAMU and you got Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman had a Netflix series out there, Marching Orders. I know you've probably seen it. Talk a little bit about the entertainment that, the fans and some of the people that will be receiving with those 2 universities.
Well, I think it's entertainment second to none. I think it's going to be second to none. I had an opportunity to go to the college football championship this year, and it was a great event. But what I quickly begun to realize that it was the Bayou Classic, it was the Magic City Classic, it was the Florida Classic, it was the State Fair Classic. And it was a classic like none other, except that the football championship, it was LSU and Clemson. So our fans get that opportunity each and every week. And when you bring in Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M, we're going to have those type games. We're going to have those types of environments and atmosphere every week. You're talking about we've led attendance 42 of the last 43 years. So we have massive amount of fans in the stands. We have the bands in the land, and now we're bringing in 2 more. We're getting ready to shut the whole South down, Ron. And when you think about it, there are 2 major black colleges in Texas. They're part of the SWAC. There's only 1 major black college in Arkansas. They're part of the SWAC. There are 2 in Louisiana. There are 3 in Mississippi. There are 2 in Alabama. They all are part of the SWAC. And now we have the 2 major Division I black institutions in the state of Florida. So from Texas all the way to the Atlantic Ocean, it's SWAC country. So we're going to do it the way we know it's supposed to be done. Tailgating, bands, great football, large crowds, and we're going to kind of isolate ourselves from everything else, and we're going to put on a good product.
Now, the only state you missing is Georgia, sir. So, I mean, are they next?
Well, I can tell you something that we are doing, and that is trying to get into the Atlanta footprint. Obviously, the MEAC SWAC Challenge is there. The Celebration Bowl is there. Now that we have FAMU, they are the largest city for FAMU graduates, and quite frankly, the mayor in Atlanta, she's a FAMU graduate. So we need to get our footprint there in Atlanta. As far as bringing in schools in the Georgia area, not quite sure that that's going to be able to happen given where we are at this point in time, but we will be bringing the SWAC brand to the state of Georgia.
Well, now, since you got those two schools, now is there any type of expansion dealing with, with broadcast packages, over the conference in general?
Well, right now we do have an ESPN deal, and there are several years that are remaining on that deal. So we are going to try to go back, and we're going to try to ask for some additional, opportunities given that we've expanded. That's going to be left up to ESPN, but I can tell you that our brand now has continued to expand given what we've already done. It's already been a strong brand. So we're going to look to do some expansion. We have to work within our current contract, but I'm pretty sure that we're going to be able to get some of those things done either now or when the contract is up and we have opportunity to renegotiate.
Now, last week I had Grambling and I had Southern on the show here, and of course I'm down by the South Alabama area, so that Grambling comes in once football starts in the second game of the season, plays in South Alabama's brand new stadium, and I told the coach, I said, I know you guys are going to bring the band, which he said, we're going to bring the whole city with us. Talk a little bit about that, having one of your universities play in a brand spanking new stadium, play against a Sun Belt Conference team.
Well, we want to, again, extend our brand, and for them to have that opportunity to go and be able to play South Alabama down in Mobile, Alabama, brand new stadiums. That's what the SWAC does. If you want a crowd, you go get a Southwestern Athletic Conference team. So it won't be the first, and I'm sure it won't be the last. But again, that is the exciting part about what we bring now. We are solidified to the 10th degree. When you're talking about black college athletics, you're talking about a conference that has some of the greatest names. You even go and you can look behind me and I see the helmet that's behind me, Mississippi Valley State, Deacon Jones, Jerry Rice, Willie Satellite Tartan, Archie Cooley as a head coach. You're talking about Hall of Famers, not just at the SWAC level, but at the national level. And we can go down to every member institution, and the sport of football has been significantly impacted by the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Has been since 1920, and it will be in 2020 and 2021 and beyond. So opening up stadiums, bringing in crowds, if you want to do that, we are the conference to come to.
Real quick, your guidelines you guys have set for the conference dealing with COVID-19, getting the athletes and the students back on campus.
Well, we have a COVID advisory committee that's putting together a restart plan. We're in constant communication with the NCAA and their chief medical officers, with the CDC. But obviously, you're going to have state guidelines, you're going to have local guidelines, and we're trying to put all of those plans together. Only COVID knows what's going to happen come September. We got to get this thing under control, but we're going to make sure that the health and safety of our student athletes is the number one priority. So we're not going to do anything that will deliberately put individuals in jeopardy, whether it's the student athletes, the coaches, the fans. So we still have some work to do, but we got to get this COVID thing under control before we really go full force. We have a plan. We have an action plan to keep people protected. We have a social distancing plan. We have how do you clean and sanitize. We have how to keep the student athletes in the bubble. You're going to have to wear a mask coming into the games. We know how to test. We know how to quarantine. We know how to do all of those things. But again, we got to get this thing under control. And if we don't, we have a plan to push it back, and we have a plan to restart. So we got plans for everything, but it all comes back to health and safety.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you had it, the SWAC Commissioner, Dr. Charles McClelland. Thank you for coming on the network today, sir.
No problem. Thanks for having me.